Battlefield 6 is right around the corner, and fans are gearing up for what could be the boldest entry in the franchise yet. If you've been waiting for massive battles, huge maps, new destruction systems, and a true return to form after Battlefield 2042, this is the video for you. I'm breaking down everything you need to know before launch, from core gameplay and modes, to multiplayer systems, the Battle Royale plans, Portal, and what's coming in Season 1. We'll also cover beta impressions, development details, and how this game is shaping up compared to its predecessors. So by the end of this, you'll have the full picture of Battlefield 6 heading into release day. And so the first thing everyone wants to know about Battlefield 6 is simple. What does it feel like to play? Well, the developers have emphasized that this entry is built as a response to community feedback from Battlefield 2042, where many felt the focus drifted way too far away from the franchise's roots. In Battlefield 6, the mantra is back to all-out warfare, that signature blend of infantry, vehicles, and large-scale destruction that made earlier entries so iconic. The game is powered by a newly upgraded Frostbite engine, boasting improved physics and destruction. Buildings can collapse more dynamically, rubble stays on the map, and even terrain can be scarred by heavy artillery or explosives. And now this isn't just cosmetic. Destroyed cover can force squads to reposition, and opening holes in walls changes choke points and lines of sight. And it's the most detailed destruction system that the franchise has seen to date, evolving what was pioneered in Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 4. And gunplay has been tuned to feel tighter, with heavier recoil patterns and more impactful sound design. Each weapon is customizable on the fly, similar to Battlefield 2042's Plus system, but with more depth. Attachments now not only change handling, but also affect weight and how quickly you can move. Weapon progression feels more rewarding, with every weapon featuring unique mastery challenges. And speaking of movement has been modernized, adding sliding, vaulting, and a revamped prone system. The developers say their goal was to make Battlefield soldiers feel agile without crossing into arcade territory like Call of Duty. In practice, that means smoother traversal without losing the weight and grit that sets Battlefield apart from faster shooters. And the maps are larger and more varied than ever. They're built to support the chaos of 128-player lobbies on next-gen platforms, but scaled down to 64 for last-gen hardware. From sprawling cities under siege to desert outposts and icy mountain ranges, the environments are built with verticality, vehicle access, and destruction in mind. And weather also plays a role, with dynamic storms, sandstorms, and even floods changing the battlefield mid-match. And now one of the biggest returns in Battlefield 6 is a full single-player campaign, something that fans have missed in 2042. I specifically hated the fact that Battlefield 2042 didn't have a campaign. And so this story is set in 2027 and follows an elite Marine unit called Dagger 13 as they face off against a private military superpower known as Pax Armada. While NATO alliances fracture, Pax Armada rises to exploit the chaos, and players will be dropped into global flashpoints ranging from Gibraltar to New York to Cairo. And the campaign is designed to feel cinematic but grounded, with large-scale destruction set pieces mixed with more intimate squad-level storytelling. Buildings and infrastructure crumble mid-mission, vehicles play key roles in both scripted and open combat, and the narrative leans into themes of loyalty, betrayal, and the blurred line between private militaries and national defense. And now, unlike Battlefield 2042, where narrative was pushed into multiplayer seasons, here you get a dedicated story to play through with the potential for events and characters introduced in the campaign to spill into multiplayer content over time. And now, of course, at its heart, Battlefield 6 is still all about massive multiplayer. Conquest and Breakthrough return as the flagship modes, both redesigned to emphasize teamwork and strategy. Capture points are now grouped into sectors, requiring teams to coordinate more deeply to lock down entire areas rather than just singular flags. And so this creates more ebb and flow and prevents battles from becoming too scattered. Squad play has also been refined, with tighter incentives for sticking with your squad. Revives and resupplies are faster when done for squad mates, and new abilities unlock as you progress together. And so this focus on smaller unit cohesion inside a massive battle is meant to give every player a sense of importance. And new modes are also part of the mix as well. One of the highlights is Combined Arms, a co-op PvE experience where squads face off against AI forces in large operations. This mode is designed as a more casual entry point and a way for players to practice vehicles, teamwork, and objectives without the intensity of competitive multiplayer. And it also ties into seasonal content with special missions and story beats. And another major addition is Escalation, a brand new large-scale mode that riffs off Conquest. Matches begin with 7 control points spread across the map. Teams fill a control meter by holding a majority of those points, and every time a team scores, one objective disappears from play. the battlefield gradually shrinks, forcing clashes into tighter and tighter zones until one team reaches 3 points and eventually wins. Escalation is designed to feel like Conquest on steroids, familiar at first but with more urgency and tension as objectives disappear and the fight condenses. And then there's Portal, Battlefield's custom experience builder. Portal first appeared in Battlefield 2042, but in Battlefield 6, it's been rebuilt with more powerful tools and a cleaner interface. Players can mix and match weapons, maps, vehicles, and rule sets to create entirely custom game types. It's a sandbox inside the sandbox, designed to let the community experiment, bringing back older playstyles or just trying something completely different. And so whether you want to recreate classic rule sets or test out strange scenarios, Portal is there to keep Battlefield 6 fresh, far beyond its official playlists. And of course, the big question that everyone had was whether Battlefield 6 would include a Battle Royale. And well, the answer is, by now everybody knows, that's a yes. And it's arriving as a full-fledged mode rather than a limited experiment. The mode is called Battlefield Frontlines, and it combines traditional BR last squad standing mechanics with Battlefield's scale and destruction. Matches support up to 100 players, feature dynamic weather, and allow for vehicles to be scavenged or called in. The destruction system means no final circle ever plays out the same way, and squad tactics are emphasized over solo play. And it's clear that DICE learned from Firestorm and Battlefield 5, which never quite found its footing, and they're determined to get it right this time. And last but not least, classic modes aren't being left behind either. Rush, a fan favorite, is returning in a curated playlist, along with smaller infantry-focused experiences like Domination, King of the Hill, and traditional deathmatch for players who prefer faster, close-quarter fights. And now, one of the most important parts of any multiplayer shooter today is the post-launch roadmap, and Battlefield 6 has its plan ready. Season 1 will launch a few weeks after release, and it is packed with content. Players can expect a brand new map set and a devastated urban environment, themed cosmetics, and the first Battle Pass. The developers have promised that all gameplay content, new weapons, vehicles, and gadgets will be free for everyone, with the Battle Pass focusing on cosmetics. The seasonal narrative will also evolve. Season 1's story is called Ashes of War, focusing on the rise of private military factions and the chaos of global conflict. Seasonal events will include limited-time operations, special challenges, and PvE missions tied into this storyline. And so the approach is meant to keep players engaged while weaving in a broader narrative across updates. And future seasons are already in development, with the team committing to at least 4 major seasons in the first year. Each will bring new maps, modes, and story beats, ensuring the game grows well beyond its launch content. And before launch, Battlefield 6 ran several closed tests and an open beta. These gave players a taste of conquest and breakthrough on one of the new maps, showing off destruction and new movement mechanics. Feedback highlighted that while the game felt more grounded and fun than 2042, there were still issues with balance, performance, and visibility. DICE responded with patches during the beta and has promised more fine-tuning for launch. And so the beta also gave us a look at progression. Unlocks felt faster, with players able to test multiple weapons and gadgets early. Seasonal progression and the Battle Pass weren't fully active, but their structure was outlined, promising clear goals without overbearing grind. And now looking at the numbers, the beta drew millions of players, showing strong interest in the franchise's return. Compared to Battlefield 2042's disastrous launch, Battlefield 6 is being positioned much more carefully. Servers, crossplay, and anti-cheat systems are all in place ahead of time, with DICE stressing stability as a top priority. Player counts, weapon balance, and even map design are being measured against past titles to ensure Battlefield 6 hits the sweet spot between chaos and control. And developers have also been transparent about their update cadence. The goal is to avoid long droughts of content, instead delivering consistent seasonal drops. And so this is a direct response to the frustration that players have had with past entries. And so Battlefield 6 isn't just another entry, it's the make or break moment for the entire franchise. With the campaign returning, Escalation shaking things up, Portal giving players total freedom, and a brutal battle royale on top of the classic modes, this is Battlefield firing on all cylinders. And so day one is going to be chaos, and honestly, that is exactly what Battlefield should be.